Nathan's hand trembled as he reached across the desk, breaking every professional rule he'd ever followed. Olivia Harrington, his CEO, the woman the entire company feared, stared at his outstretched hand with an expression he couldn't read. "If you touch me," she whispered, her voice cracking in a way he'd never heard before, "everything changes. My career, your job, everything I've built to protect myself." Nathan didn't pull back. "Then let it change," he said softly. Her fingers slowly intertwined with his, and a single tear rolled down her cheek. "I don't know how to be loved," she admitted, her famous confidence completely shattered. "Then let me teach you," Nathan replied. What happened in that moment would challenge everything both of them believed about power, vulnerability, and the price of letting someone truly see you. Welcome to Eternal Love Diaries, where real stories change real lives. Every love carries a story, and here, each one is told from the heart. Today's story follows Nathan Cross, a 29-year-old marketing strategist who works at a prestigious advertising firm in Miami. When his company merges with a competitor, Nathan finds himself reporting to Olivia Harrington, the brilliant 32-year-old CEO known for her sharp business acumen and ice-cold demeanor. Their first encounter happens during a weekend corporate retreat at a beachfront resort, where Olivia challenges everything Nathan thought he knew about professionalism, ambition, and the walls people build around their hearts. What starts as an innocent moment by the pool becomes the beginning of something neither of them expected. This is a story about breaking down barriers, risking everything for connection, and discovering that sometimes the person who challenges you the most is exactly who you need. Nathan had exactly 3 seconds to decide whether to pretend he hadn't been staring. Olivia Harrington lay on the resort lounge chair, oversized sunglasses reflecting the Miami sun, her business suit traded for casual resort wear. She lowered those sunglasses just enough to catch his gaze. Her smirk was unmistakable. "Enjoying the view?" she asked, her voice carrying that same authority she wielded in boardrooms. Nathan's throat went dry, but something about her tone, almost playful, made him take a risk he'd never normally take. "You," he said simply, holding her gaze. The smirk disappeared. Her expression shifted to something unreadable. She sat up slowly, removing her sunglasses completely. "My office. Monday morning. 7 sharp." Then she stood and walked away, leaving Nathan wondering if he'd just made the best or worst decision of his career. The merger had happened 6 weeks earlier. Nathan had watched his comfortable position at Sterling Marketing transform overnight when Harrington Industries acquired them. Half his colleagues were let go. The survivors whispered about Olivia like she was some corporate ghost story, a woman who'd built her empire from nothing and showed no mercy to underperformers. Nathan had seen her exactly twice before the retreat, both times from a distance during all-hands meetings. She spoke with precision, commanded attention effortlessly, and left every room feeling colder than when she'd entered. He'd never expected to see her at the mandatory weekend team-building event. He'd certainly never expected to see her by the pool, looking almost human. Monday morning arrived with the weight of dread. Nathan showed up at 6:45, determined not to give her ammunition. Olivia's corner office overlooked Biscayne Bay, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the water like a painting. She was already there, reviewing documents, her dark hair pulled back severely, power suit immaculate. "Sit," she said without looking up. Nathan sat. 5 minutes passed in silence. 10. Finally, she closed the folder and looked at him directly. "Tell me why you said that." Her tone wasn't angry. It was curious, almost confused. Nathan chose honesty. "Because it was true. Because I'm tired of pretending we're robots in suits." Something flickered across her face. Vulnerability, maybe. Just for a second. "I don't do personal relationships with employees," Olivia said flatly. Nathan nodded. "I understand." She stood, walking to the window, her back to him. "My father built this company. When he died, I was 26, and his board tried to steal it from me. They said I was too young, too inexperienced, too emotional. I spent 6 years proving them wrong, buying them out one by one, expanding into markets they said were impossible. I don't have time for distractions. I don't have space for weakness. Nathan heard the pain beneath her words. That's not living. That's surviving. She turned sharply. You don't know anything about me. He stood his ground. Then let me learn. The weeks that followed were strange. Olivia assigned Nathan to her inner circle, a small team handling the most critical campaigns. He worked longer hours than ever, but now he saw her differently. She was brilliant, yes, but also exhausting. She'd review presentations at midnight, send notes at 3 in the morning, and expect perfection. Yet Nathan also noticed the small things. How she remembered birthdays. How she quietly paid for a colleague's mother's medical bills when she thought no one was looking. How she'd stand at that window during breaks, staring at the water with an expression of profound loneliness. One evening, working late on a proposal, Nathan found her still there at 9 o'clock. You ever go home? He asked. She didn't look up. Home is just another empty space. That confession stayed with him. The next Friday, Nathan did something impulsive. He knocked on her office at 6, holding 2 takeout containers. You need to eat, he said. Olivia looked at him like he'd grown a second head. This is inappropriate. He set the food down anyway. It's dinner, not a marriage proposal. You're running yourself into the ground, and you're too valuable to this company to burn out. He turned to leave, but her voice stopped him. Stay. They ate in her office, talking about nothing important at first. Favorite foods. Bad movies. Places they'd traveled. Slowly, carefully, Olivia began to open up. She talked about her father, how he'd taught her everything about business but nothing about balance. How after he died, work became her sanctuary and her prison. How she dated occasionally but always sabotaged it because vulnerability felt like failure. What about you? She asked finally. Nathan shrugged. I was engaged once. 3 years ago. She wanted stability, a nice house in the suburbs, kids on a schedule. I wanted to build something meaningful first. We wanted different timelines. Olivia studied him. Do you regret it? He considered. I regret hurting her. But no, I wasn't ready to be what she needed. Maybe I'm still not ready. She leaned back. At least you're honest about it. Most people lie to themselves. That became their Friday ritual. Working late, sharing dinner, talking about real things. Nathan learned that Olivia collected vintage books but never had time to read them. That she'd wanted to be a teacher before her father's death changed everything. That her confidence was both genuine and a carefully constructed armor. The turning point came during a crisis. Their biggest client threatened to walk after a competitor offered a better deal. Olivia called an emergency meeting, her stress palpable. The team presented ideas, but nothing landed. Nathan watched her growing frustration and made a choice. Everyone out, he said quietly. The team looked confused. Nathan, this isn't the time, Olivia started. Everyone out. 5 minutes. They left reluctantly. Olivia stood, anger flashing. What are you doing? Nathan walked to her. You're panicking, and panic makes bad decisions. Breathe. She laughed bitterly. You think breathing solves this? He took her hands, a bold move that made her freeze. I think you're carrying this alone when you don't have to. What if we approached them not with a better offer, but with a partnership model? Give them equity in their campaign's success. Make them stakeholders, not just clients. Olivia's eyes widened. She pulled her hands back, but gently. That's risky. That changes our entire business model. Nathan nodded. But it's innovative. It's exactly the kind of bold move your father would respect. She stared at him for a long moment. Then she grabbed her phone, calling the client directly. 20 minutes later, they had a meeting scheduled. 3 days after that, the client signed a revolutionary new contract that became their template for major accounts. The industry noticed. Articles praised Harrington Industries' innovative approach. Olivia's reputation shifted from ruthless to visionary. And through it all, Nathan saw her transformation. She smiled more. Delegated better. Left the office at reasonable hours occasionally. One Saturday afternoon, Olivia texted Nathan. An address, nothing else. He drove to a small bookshop in Coral Gables. She was inside, browsing fiction, looking more relaxed than he'd ever seen her in jeans and a simple blouse. "You found my secret," she said when he approached. "I come here when I need to remember who I was before everything got complicated." They spent 2 hours there, recommending books, debating authors, existing in a space where titles didn't matter. When they left, Olivia hesitated outside. "I'm scared," she admitted suddenly. Nathan waited. "I'm scared that if I let you in, really in, I'll lose focus. That I'll become what they said I was, too emotional, too weak." He stepped closer. "Or maybe you'll become complete." Their first real date happened the following week. Nothing fancy, just a walk along South Beach at sunset. Olivia talked about her mother, who'd left when she was 12, unable to handle her father's obsession with business. "I promised myself I'd never be abandoned again," she said. "So I built walls so high nobody could get close enough to leave." Nathan understood. Walls keep people out, but they also keep you trapped. She stopped walking, turning to him. "Why do you care? You could find someone easier, someone without all this baggage." He smiled. "Because easy is boring. Because I've never met anyone who challenges me like you do. Because when you smile, really smile, it's like watching the sun break through clouds." Her eyes glistened. "That's the most ridiculous, wonderful thing anyone's ever said to me." The office noticed their connection, though they kept things professional at work. Olivia's assistant, Maria, pulled Nathan aside one morning. "I've worked for her 7 years. I've never seen her this happy. Whatever you're doing, don't stop." But happiness brought new fears. Olivia started pulling back, canceling plans, burying herself in work. Nathan confronted her one evening in her office. "Talk to me. What's happening?" She wouldn't meet his eyes. "This was a mistake. We worked together. It's complicated. We should end this before it gets messy." Nathan felt his heart crack. "You're running because you're scared." She stood abruptly. "I'm being practical. You want me to what, choose you over everything I've built?" He stepped back, hurt. "I want you to realize you can have both. But if you can't see that, maybe you're right. Maybe this was a mistake." He left her office, went home, and spent the weekend questioning everything. Monday morning, he submitted a resignation letter. If the relationship cost him his job, he'd make that choice clear. Olivia called him within an hour. "My office. Now." When he arrived, she was pacing, his letter in her hand. "What is this?" Her voice shook. "You can't leave." Nathan stood firm. "I can't stay and watch you sabotage the best thing either of us has had because you're afraid. I love you, Olivia. I love your brilliance and your drive and even your walls. But I won't be your excuse for running." Tears streamed down her face, the first time he'd seen her cry. "I don't know how to do this." He went to her, cupping her face gently. "Neither do I. But we figure it out together." She kissed him then, desperate and hopeful. When they broke apart, she whispered, "I love you too. I'm terrified, but I love you." Nathan smiled. "Terrified is fine. Running is not." She laughed through tears. "Stay. Work with me, be with me, help me learn how to balance this." He ripped up the resignation letter. They spent the next hour talking about boundaries, about keeping professional and personal separate, about building something real. Olivia admitted she'd never thought she deserved happiness beyond success. Nathan helped her see that success meant nothing without someone to share it with. They agreed to be honest, to communicate, to not let fear drive their decisions. 6 months later, Harrington Industries launched its most successful quarter ever. Olivia credited her team publicly, but privately told Nathan he'd saved her from becoming someone she'd hate. They moved in together, finding a balance between her penthouse and his more modest apartment by splitting time. Olivia learned to delegate, to trust, to leave work at work sometimes. Nathan pushed her to pursue her love of teaching, and she started mentoring young businesswomen on weekends. Their relationship wasn't perfect. They argued about work-life balance, about boundaries, about fear. But they worked through it, choosing each other repeatedly. The real transformation came a year after that pool encounter. Olivia stood before a business conference, giving a keynote about sustainable success. She spoke about her journey, her father's legacy, and the danger of building empires while forgetting to build lives. "Someone once told me that surviving isn't living," she said, looking directly at Nathan in the audience. He was right. True success isn't measured in profit margins or market share. It's measured in moments of genuine connection, in having someone who sees past your armor to your heart, in being brave enough to let them in. The standing ovation lasted 5 minutes. That night, on their apartment balcony overlooking the bay, Nathan held Olivia close. "Proud of you," he murmured. She smiled. "We did this together. You showed me I didn't have to choose between strength and love. That the bravest thing I could do was be vulnerable." He kissed her forehead. "What happens next?" She turned in his arms. "Next, we keep building. The business, us, a life that matters. I'm thinking maybe in a few years, we start that foundation we talked about. Help young entrepreneurs who don't have the advantages I had." Nathan grinned. "Look at you, planning a future." She laughed. "Only with you." The lesson in their story is profound. We often believe that success requires sacrifice, that achievement demands we wall off our hearts and push forward alone. But true fulfillment comes from integration, from finding people who don't diminish our ambitions but enhance our capacity to achieve them with purpose. Olivia learned that vulnerability isn't weakness but courage. Nathan learned that challenging someone you love means believing in their potential even when they can't see it themselves. Together, they proved that the walls we build to protect ourselves often become the prisons that limit us. The view from the top means nothing if you're standing there alone. We'd love to know, which country are you watching from? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts on second chances and finding love in unexpected places. If this story moved you, inspired you, or made you believe that success and love can coexist, show your support by hitting the like button. Subscribe to Eternal Love Diaries for more stories that touch the heart and change perspectives. Every story we share comes from real experiences, real struggles, and real transformations. From Miami, United States, this is Nathan and Olivia's journey, a reminder that sometimes the person who challenges you most is exactly who you need to become your best self.